Perna was actually pooping. You know what he should do?
Wear a diaper.
Rah, 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 rah.
Wear a diaper.
Rah, 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 rah.
Wear a diaper.
Rah, 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 rah.
Wear a diaper.
We are so back.
Caught me. I was on the toilet.
I sent you a voice message
from Christmas food.
Did you listen to the voice message I sent you?
Push.
Yeah, like, listen, I'm just trying to help. It was just, if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will.
So we are actually back to this show.
I love how you put that up too. I came into the show lobby and that's what was up. And I was like, oh, he's pooping. Before I even checked my phone.
Yeah.
Yep, this is how we're going to do the show. We here.
We steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to... And now he's drinking the coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's going to blow it out again. You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is... G.
Should probably make it public on my end, huh? God, I'm all...
P. S. Wait, it wasn't public the whole time?
Nope, just made it public. Gosh darn it. Oh, we missed one episode. My bowels don't know what to do. I forget to set it live on YouTube. I'm falling apart like the Broncos, Tom.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's okay. It's the holiday spirit.
Yeah,
he didn't want to. He just said, nay. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Yeah. What's going on, folks?
Kevin. Dude. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Well, all right. It's already late, and now this, so this is good. This is good. This is fine. It's G Poop S. Yes. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of GPS. We got a lot to talk about. It feels like we haven't seen you in a while, because the last time that we were together streaming, it was on Sunday night for that Patriots-Broncos game. And today we're going to do a little bit of a recap of what we saw. Of course, we got to talk about those Monday games. And then, of course, look forward to, the final Thursday game of the year. Oh, that's from Kevin, right?
That's from Kevin, dude.
Yeah, those are nice.
Look at those.
Fins up.
Air Jordan.
Damn.
Oh, wait, DT. Kevin, you are insane.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I was shocked. Shocked, Kevin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Poops out, shoes out. Let's roll.
Did you poop with those shoes on?
I'm scared to even put those shoes on.
That's fair. They look very, very nice. They do. So yeah. Joe Barry's still our DC. Santa did not make a change there. I'm not terribly surprised. I said at the end of the season, or as soon as they get eliminated from playoff contention, if that happens. But Brandon, how was your holiday, buddy?
It was good. I mean, yesterday was crazy.
Yesterday was work.
Whew. Man, I am so glad. Christmas next year is Wednesday, right? So it's like because it's a leap year. We're getting a leap year, guys. We're getting a leap year, and so Christmas Eve Tuesday, Christmas Wednesday. Basically, did 2.5 days worth of work in one day yesterday, but on Christmas. Had football on, but I was not attached to it, was not married to it, just tried to enjoy the day, hung out at my parents' house. It was nice. It was very nice.
Get to unwind.
I bought Carmi and her cousins a bouncy castle. That was their big Christmas gift. And my parents, like, their basement's huge, and they've got this big open room, so it just fit in their, like, storage room. So I just chilled down there with them while they jumped around.
You didn't jump also?
I got in there.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, dude, what the heck is the point then? The whole point of buying a bouncy house is that you get to partake in it as well.
I was more excited to give it to them than I think like I've ever been about anything for on Christmas since I was like probably a kid.
So now we fully converted to the boomer. It's like Christmas isn't about the gifts; it's about
It's
the
about
giving.
the kids.
Yep, that's how you know.
Loving my children. That makes me a boomer.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest boomer there is, Tom.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's some taller.
I do
folks out there.
not. I would never besmirch his name by saying that while I'm on the toilet. It's a sacred name.
It is. It is. We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
We have a ton to talk about. It's such a weird, like this week I knew was going to be weird, but afterwards I was like, damn, because my Christmas was like the least stressful Monday I've had all season. So it's like, all right, I'm going to do 3 videos and stream. But I'm like, all right, I get to kind of take my time. There's no like deadline. I have till 8 o'clock. GPS wasn't in the morning. And I was like, what is it? I got so much done in that early afternoon slot. It was nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, let's go.
Nice. Hell yeah. So a lot of people posting those.
Brandon, you got your Christmas wish, but then the Broncos just couldn't hold up their end of the deal. The Raiders beat the crap out of the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was bad. And I mean, everything that could have gone wrong in that game for the Chiefs went wrong. I mean, even on the sidelines, Andy Reid getting picked up by a crane, everything went wrong. Jack Jones. So this was the funny thing to me. Jack Jones, when he did that, when he went to like that, I was like, greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But, like legit ruin a
hilarious.
child's Christmas. I respect it so much because the kid looked like a middle schooler, and middle schoolers don't deserve rights. So when he did that, and then he was like posting himself as like the Grinch and stuff like that. But then he clarified and was like, no, there's this guy who was trying to take it. That's why I pulled the ball back, which I don't know if is like true, or if it's like
Yeah, I looked at the video a couple times yesterday, and there's definitely an adult reaching over the child. So, like, dude, if you're reaching over a kid to get a football, it's like, who's the real kid? Who's the real kid there, huh?
You should get run over by Santa's sleigh, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I do wish that adult wasn't in the mix, and it was just straight up teaching that kid a lesson about loyalty to your football team. And I thought about that. I was like, you know what? That's exactly what you want to see, because one, if he does rip that ball away from the kid, that kid's going to hate the Raiders for the rest of his life.
Builds character.
And we want that. We want fans who are all in with their teams, who've got a reason to root against them. I think it's a positive thing. But yeah, it's a little disappointing. He might have done it for the right reason.
I know. It's just like, no, just like go full heel and just be like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. I wanted to ruin that child's Christmas. Also, can we talk about real quick? So this is so funny to me, because now I think we fully passed the point. Because when Taylor Swift first, started dating Travis Kelce, and they were shown a cajillion times, what have you. Now it's like they're showing Taylor Swift, who's visibly upset, of course, while the Chiefs are doing poorly. Everyone's like, oh my God, I am so sick of her. She's just at the game. Like, it is a conscious choice for the cameras to show her. Like, at some point, that's not her fault anymore. And I think we've passed that point. It's just like, guys, is somebody at the game? It's just, we're done.
But do we know that for sure? Maybe she went up to all the cameramen before the game.
I was like,
said,
hey,
you put me on the fucking screen or I will end you and your family.
Honestly,
she's the real Grinch.
I'd respect that. I'd respect the hell out of that. There's nothing more heartwarming than a Christmas threat. Like, it just brings us all together. I went 11-5. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Nice. What if she's like, she's like truly evil? She's like, you will be locked in my Swift prison that I have on my compound.
Oh.
And we find out she just keeps a bunch of prisoners for her amusement. And by amusement, she practices her new songs in front of them.
I mean,
because it's like, if they're a prisoner, they're going to give an honest feedback. They're never getting out. It's life sentence in the Swift prison compound.
Do they know that ahead of time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then hope is like abandoned. Because here's the thing, right? If you are captured, right, and you're thrown in this prison, there is going to be, like, is it when you're picked up, like transport, you're told, hey, this is it now. It's done. You're never seeing the sun again. Or is it something that like once they kind of get acclimated a little bit, kind of like yell it out, then they're being told, hey, you're not getting out? Because then it's going to take like a week or two to kind of settle in, you know?
So they get there and then they get thrown in the hole right away.
Okay.
So once they come out of the hole, they're happy to be in prison at that point, like around other people.
Oh, because it's basically like it's better than where they were. Got it.
Yeah. And if they disobey, guess what they have to do, Tom?
I don't know.
I just saw a thing about Travis Kelce having more commercials this year than any other celebrity, and
he has a lot of commercials.
They just have to watch Travis Kelce commercials on loop.
Just Pfizer commercials over and over again.
Yep, okay. They plays full volume in their cell. Yep. Boom, 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 boom. It's rough. It's rough in that.
So at that point, once they are just mentally and emotionally broken, then Taylor Swift will come out with her music and they'll be like, you know what? Like, honestly, like this is a nice reprieve. Yeah. So because of that, they will give up. Here's the thing, Brian. This is my only concern. Is that because we already established there's that punishment dynamic, right? If you do something wrong. Mm-hmm. So are they going to be afraid to give her legit criticism out of fear of retribution? Because then that could sway the audience, question. And then I don't know if the songs are good, you know?
It's a good question. I think she knows she has a banger when they like it, and they don't ask to have the Travis Kelce commercials put back on.
Oh, so
when they go like, can I just go back to watching Kelce commercials? She's like, oh, we got to scrap this team. This one's not holding up.
Okay. Is there a reward or is the song a reward?
The song's the reward.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, good to know.
They will be eating gruel forever.
Okay, wow. So it's just like
with the oh man, the Dementors.
The worst part about prison is Dementors.
The Dementors.
But yeah, so the Chiefs lost on Monday.
Fair enough, Eric. Fair enough, Eric.
Guys, it's our first day back. We took off like 8 weeks. It was a day, but
this is the thing. Like if Tom and I miss a day together, we gotta get the gigglies out first, and
we gotta sync up
about football.
We gotta sync up, and plus Perna was late, so we couldn't get it done in the pre-show.
I forgot to set it live. I had
to put my hat on, so you know that's
we're getting there.
So yeah, what are your thoughts? Because it legitimately, and I know Guillermo's really happy about this, and all Raiders fans. Week 18 might come down to like, hey, like the Broncos or the Raiders could potentially make it into the postseason. The Broncos, their chances are a little bit not so good right now. But Raiders with Pierce, I'm just begging them, do not make the same mistake you made with Rich Bisaccia. Because 63 points against the Chargers, now you beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and I know the Chiefs are not that great this year, but still, that's a big deal. Like, you got to keep them.
I mean, I honestly was... I would say like on the fence about Pierce as like the head coach, because it was like the Raiders got the bump and then they're just kind of limited by their QB play right now.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, are you ready to admit their defense is pretty good?
Yeah, I am.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Good.
But that's the other thing. It's like I've seen the Raiders play a good game here and there.
Be fun.
But they're one of those teams where every time I start to think that they might be good, they're like the Broncos to me. They just let me down. But like what they did in Kansas City, it's probably one of the most impressive games this weekend, what their defense did to the Chiefs offense. So I wanted to come in today and say, I normally like to trash the Raiders. I do. Like, to me, it's more fun to trash the Raiders than even the Chiefs. Because Raiders fans, they're spicy in a different way, right? I appreciate their spirit.
Oh no,
okay?
They got a bit of a spice.
That's why
I always appreciated Raiders fans, because it's like, no, like you might get punched in the mouth, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Like, let's go.
And it's kind of like the Raiders and Chargers and Broncos. It's like, yeah, but we all suck too, huh, guys? We all suck in this division. I'm rooting. Like, I don't think the Broncos can get into the playoffs. I don't think they deserve to be in the playoffs at this point. And I will root for the Raiders to get in if it keeps Kansas City out. So the Chiefs, they got to lose 2 games, right? Yeah. So I never thought I would be here, but yes, I will root for the Raiders to get into the playoffs. That said, I was watching that like that game was on TV at Christmas, right? There's a lot going on. The volume's low, so I'm not hearing everything that's happening.
Sure.
And the Raiders defense, they made Patrick Mahomes look pedestrian. Like for the first time I watched Patrick Mahomes throw some really dumb balls because he didn't have any other choices. I don't think a lot of people are like, is he washed? Is he bad? Is Patrick Mahomes even good? I love those takes. No, he doesn't have much to work with right now, but he looked as ineffective as I've ever seen him look in a football game.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, the Raiders, they dominated. But then the stat comes out that they didn't complete a single pass after the first quarter.
Yes.
So like, I want to believe in the Raiders, but you're like, what are they going to get from Aiden O'Connell if they do get into the playoffs? Do they switch to Jimmy G right now? I don't know if that's an upgrade. I don't think you mess with the mojo. I know everybody loves Aiden, but like that part is, they play that game again. Can they rely on beating the Chiefs without completing a pass for 3 straight quarters and 62 passing yards?
Well, I mean, they can when the Chiefs have negative 18 passing yards in the first quarter. It does help. I mean,
I wish I would have seen that stat when I was doing my Broncos episode because Denver had like -7 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And if I could have just been like, well, at least we're not the Chiefs offense.
Sorry, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the rate, I think that makes it more fun, though. And what I mean by that is like this Raiders team, they had the most whelming offseason in recent memory. Like it was just like, oh, we got Jimmy G as our franchise quarterback. Okay. Oh, we got Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers been doing well for them. But
that was a solid pickup, yeah.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers. Like, but there wasn't a ton of excitement around that. And it's like, okay, we still got Josh McDaniels. Now, week 17, we're talking about the Raiders potentially making the postseason. There's no more Jimmy G, right? Yeah. The defense has stepped up and is a top 10 defense this year. And so now I think that gives so much hope and optimism for like going forward. Because regardless of what they're going to do on offense, if you're like, damn, like we got a defense, like let's kind of roll with that and like keep building that as well. And we'll eventually, build the offense up as well. And like we'll be rocking. Because like you go from identity of being like a super mid team to now having a top 10 defensive unit. Like that gives you that optimism. Okay, like here's where we're going to build in these next few seasons. Because I feel like they really didn't have a direction, this offseason.
Yeah. They've got to like, and that was the thing heading into the season when you're looking at the Raiders, like what did they do well last year, right? It's like they need to improve everywhere. And now you can say if they finish the season this way, we've got a good defense. We've got our defensive base. Yeah. We've got some playmakers on offense. They just need a quarterback. They're going to be in the quarterback market. Yeah, and I'm not saying Aiden O'Connell can't get better and develop, but like they can easily upgrade that position and then be a pretty competitive football team next year.
Mm-hmm.
And they should bring Pierce back. Like the players love him. He's doing a hell of a job getting them ready to play. And
this is Bisaccia too. And like they're just like, nope, go coach special teams with the Packers. I just hope that now they don't make the same mistake because Max Crosby put out the video where like they were like jamming to a song and like they just looked like they were so loose and like having a good time. They've been smoking in the locker room and all that great stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, it was after like the blowout with Josh McDaniels. It was before he got fired when they had that meeting that turned into like kind of an airing of grievances / roast. The next day in practice, I think they started playing music. So, and they hadn't been doing that. And I know that's like a small thing, but dude, like I think it just shows how the culture has radically shifted. Because even when I was there for 30 and 30 with Johnny, like they were talking about like, yeah, McDaniels kind of is like very insulated, like, don't let anything out, like be whatever. And I think that now Pierce as like a player's coach has really allowed that team to find its own identity and they could just play a little bit freer and it's showing on the field.
Yeah, no, the music thing comes into question when your team sucks. Yes. Like that was a storyline with the Broncos. And I maybe it was, I forget who was even the coach. It was like Fangio, but he'd only play like his music, which I'm sure was just like Frank Sinatra or some bullshit.
1920s like, music.
Yeah. Like you start talking about that stuff when things are going like real bad. But what the Raiders might have stumbled into through Mark Davis's own incompetence. If I had to bet on somebody having like a better trajectory as a head coach, I think at this moment, Talk to me again next week. I would go Antonio Pierce over Rich Bisaccia. I think Antonio Pierce might be a better head coach. I think his playing experience goes a long way, and I think he might be a better overall Raiders head coach moving forward. I think he embraces like the identity that the Raiders had when they were good. Like they're a tough football team, maybe not even like the Raiders. They used to be every year like the dirty football team, right? Like they had that reputation.
Yep.
Maybe we don't always win the game, but you're gonna feel it afterwards. Type of play. I think like he embraces all of that about the Raiders culture and who they were and trying to get them actually back to that spot.
Which they don't have that in Vegas.
No.
That I think is also a major part of it too, because Vegas is like a Golden Knights city.
Yeah.
Right. They're all about the Vegas Golden Knights, right? Because like born, bred, and like everything that's occurred there, all about the Golden Knights. The Raiders, and as I've talked about, and this is the biggest problem I had, was that like they didn't really seem to have a direction. 1, 2, they had Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, and Josh Jacobs. Those were the main jerseys that were in the pro shop. Because you're like, we don't have franchise quarterback. We're hoping that we keep on to these guys. Hopefully Josh Jacobs is back. We'll see. And then, like you said, it's more like with 30 and 30, it was like, it caters to tourists because like Vegas, like people are coming over and what have you. And there are still diehard Raiders fans that go to the game. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like even the stadium itself, the Raiders paraphernalia throughout the stadium is like hidden and is more like in the expensive like club lounges and all that stuff. So I think if you're able to kind of rebuild that culture and get that sense of identity for Vegas, like it can only help the brand even more for Raiders. Yeah.
I think like Pierce kind of brings that same sort of like enthusiasm and attitude that like Dan Campbell brought to the Lions, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they got to win the next 2 games. And even if they don't get into the playoffs, but they finish out strong, like I think that's good.
I mean, they beat the Chiefs on Christmas in Arrowhead. Like that's
dude, yeah, it's
damn good.
And they beat them in like a way you don't expect that. Like we're so used to if you beat the Chiefs, you got to like I was going to say outscore them. Like obviously you got to outscore them. But you got to score a lot of touchdowns to keep up with them. They neutered their offense and their offense didn't do much. They got a defensive pick 6 and was it a fumble recovery touchdown?
Yeah,
I forget. Like they just and maybe 1 rushing touchdown in there. Or no, they only had 2 touchdowns, I think, a couple field goals. Either way, it was a weird game. So I didn't expect to be talking about the Raiders today. Like, yeah, they're starting to put something together.
Yep.
I thought this would be like a get right game for KC, but Chiefs problems are stacking up. Nobody's scared of the Chiefs right now.
No, nobody's scared of the Chiefs right now. Because it's just like, it's honestly similar to how I felt about the Jaguars this year and their offense. I think it's just we every week keep on waiting for like the real Jaguars or the real Chiefs to show up. And like the Chiefs have had very few games where they do that. Like the Bears, like they blew them out, right? But even when they lost to the Lions, they're like, oh, well, they didn't have Travis Kelce, they didn't have Jones, that's fine. But now like we're sitting here and going, oh no, like there's some problems. The thing that bothers me the most though, Perna, is it's like, oh, it's because he has no wide receivers, right? It's just no Tyreek Hill. And I'm like, dude, they just won a Super Bowl in February, right? With Juju Smith-Schuster and no Tyreek Hill. Now, I'm not saying the receivers aren't a problem because the receivers are 100% a problem. But there is more than just a wide receiver problem in Kansas City right now.
I think, well, let's just give credit to Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay.
G5.
But I think like there's a style of play, like the way you have to play the position as a Chiefs receiver for any quarterback who can extend plays as long as a guy like Mahomes has, it's a little bit different. I think it takes time to build chemistry as a unit and also chemistry like with your quarterback. And like what Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Mahomes had is they were all 3 of those guys were always on the same page, right? Yeah. And now you still have that with Kelce, but defenses are just like, we will just take Kelce out of the game. And we've seen it happen in some games with Rice. Like, I think he's the guy that next year could step up.
Yep.
But you've got your route, you've got whatever the play is, and then you've got the second part of the play where you got to get back into a spot where Mahomes can see you and get you the ball. And it seems like those secondary plays, they don't have anybody there for him to throw to. And defenses have gotten better at defending that style of play. And that's not just against Mahomes and the Chiefs. That's like every quarterback this year. That's why we've seen the downtick in offensive production. It's like they know how to defend those secondary opportunities a little more efficiently. And it's your too high, your too shell, your whatever safety approach, right? Like just don't let them get behind you. And you can have that mentality, and Tyreek Hill will always get behind you. And that loss now is stinging. And whatever the chemistry that unit has, it's just not there yet. They'll be drafting or making a play for somebody, and they will be going all in on receivers. Kansas City, guarantee it this offseason.
That's a really great point, Legion. I also want to talk about this because there was a lot of frustration about the Green Bay Packers on Sunday because they're winning 30-16 against the worst team in the league, Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young had his best game of his young career. No surprise if you've been watching Packers games. But good God, man. Jordan Love, for me, I said it on Sunday, he's the guy. Like, it's done now. I was getting closer because I was like, we'll wait and see, even through the ups in the beginning of the season, then the downs, and then started doing well again. So they go back up again. For me, what he's able to do with a god-awful defense, their offense right now, he is top five in passing TDs with a room where he has not had a healthy offense ever this week. This season. He hasn't had a healthy offense. Everybody and their mother's under 25 years old, right? Like all these receivers super young. And Romeo Dobbs, he's been healthy. But dude, Christian Watson out. Wicks got hurt in this game. Aaron Jones is almost never there. There's so many injuries, and Love is able to do this with an offense that has just kind of been thrown together, and they're a really young offense. I'm so effing excited about Jordan Love. So excited. Because he's able to do this. It reminds me of Iron Man, right? With a box of scraps. Yeah. Let's see what we could do with some actual support. Yeah.
This makes the AFC playoff picture really interesting, though. I got outside of the Dolphins getting a win, there's really no clarity in the AFC at this point.
Except the Baltimore Ravens being the number one team.
Yeah, no, fair. But I mean, do we both predict? Did we both take the Ravens?
Nope, picked the 49ers.
You picked the 49ers even after we were like, we think the Ravens could win. Oh, Tommy.
Yeah, I still picked the 49ers. I mean,
wow.
Here's the thing. I was like, yeah, I think the Ravens could win. I picked the 49ers too because at home they've been playing really well. Dude, I want to talk about that game because they ran into a buzzsaw. The Ravens defense was really good, but I do also have to shout out. There you go. You go. The Ravens defense was really good, but so was the 49ers defense for a while. Because after all those turnovers, that game was still really close for a while before the Ravens ran away with it.
It was a fight, and it came down to Brock Purdy made mistakes he doesn't normally make, and that cost the Niners any chance to win that game. And I think if they would have that first series after Kittle nearly took it to the house, if Purdy just doesn't throw a atrocious pick there,
was bad.
I don't even know what he was looking at. I watched that. I'm like, dang, it's a bad decision. And once you get used to a guy making good decisions, you're like, what does he do? Really, it looks bad. But it just came down to two good teams. If they played again, I don't even know if it goes down the same way. But we talked about this Friday too, right? And I couldn't find the tweet. I was like, there's somebody talked about the matchups. And it was like the Ravens against what the 49ers do well, they're one of the best teams. So it's like the zone running, the pre-snap motion, all of that other shit, and it turned out to be true. And Lamar's just steady. Lamar Jackson's just so steady. He's gonna kill you every now and then with his legs. It's not as much as it used to be, but he still has 7 or 8. How many rushing yards does he have right now? It's like the quietest, impressive rushing season.
Yes. Well, so, you know what's really funny, too? Because there was a super chat about that, too. The one running back that we're not talking about at all is Raheem Mostert. Like, he has an insane amount of touchdowns this year. I feel like I'm not trying to, like, compare the two. But I feel like he's having, like, that Jamal Williams season that he did with the Lions. He had, like, an insane amount of touchdowns. He beat Barry Sanders' record. A lot of those were on the goal line. But, like, Mostert is, like, keeping pace with CMC. But it's just not talked about at all.
Yeah. 786 rushing yards from Lamar Jackson. Somebody's, like, trying to put some stat up with Lamar next to some other QB. And they didn't factor in, like, his rushing yards. Like, dude, that's really important. But Mostert is still explosive. He still has those big plays. He's just like Jamal Williams. He's really good in the red zone for the Dolphins, and you've got a coach who's going to scheme you open all day. So nobody's talking about Mostert. He's like everybody's like favorite fantasy steal this year.
Yes. Because even when, like, dude, on his own team, it's all about Achane. It's like, when's Achane coming back?
Yeah,
like, because
he's back.
That, like,
he's been back for a few weeks.
Yeah, I know.
It's just been Mostert.
I know, but that when he was out, it's just like, okay, but when's he coming back? I mean, Raheem Mostert's like, do you see what I'm doing out here? Like,
I'm 30. I'm 31 years old, and I'm still like one of the fastest dudes.
We would have won at least 2 more games. 2 more games at least. I want to say 2.
And
I don't want to over exaggerate, but
like when we're looking at the playoffs, okay. So the Ravens get it done by committee, right? They're now to Gus Edwards and Justice Hill in the backfield. I think it's going to be important as they go into the postseason. Big reason the Rams are playing well is Kyren Williams. If the Dolphins can keep running the football well, they can be dangerous in the playoffs. If there's one thing like that really worries you about the Cowboys, it's like the run game. Take Tony Pollard out, like. He hasn't been. If they had that same rushing attack, that was they would be so good right now. And the 49ers with McCaffrey, they got it. And running backs just haven't been talked about, I feel like, much at all this season.
No, definitely not. I'm also like Purdy having the bad game that he did. I was like, okay, can we just give it to CMC now? Like, are we done now? Can we? And people are talking about Lamar now too, and they've been talking about Lamar. It's just been a little bit quieter. But I still think it has to be CMC. But also, if you hated Brock Purdy and like thought he was fraudulent, Monday did not help those narratives. And only 2 of those interceptions were his fault, right? Like the Ravens were just playing really damn good.
Yeah,
football.
one got like tipped up in the air, right?
Exactly. One was off the hands. Like it happens. But no, it needs to be CMC. Tyreek Hill, again, you can make that argument, but I think CMC deserves it this year.
I think we still got 2 weeks of football, and those guys can make a case for themselves. I still think it's open because it's not just a QB.
And then also real quick, because just to recap those Monday games, the Eagles, this was their supposed to get right game. Like this is the easy part of their schedule. Yeah. Tommy DeVito got benched. Gabagool. And hey
Philly, fuck you for benching DeVito. This is a city that built a statue for Rocky Balboa, and you get Tommy DeVito benched.
It's true.
Most anti-Italian city in America is Philadelphia now. If you're Italian and you live in Philadelphia, leave. Leave. How dare they? Sorry for yelling into the mic.
Sorry, yeah. So the Eagles didn't look that great, is all I'm saying.
No, they're all right.
It's like, and they're going to be playing the Giants again, like 2 weeks. So
they're going to get a full dose of Tyrod Taylor. Yep. Yeah, like as soon as they get to the 20, it's like give it to Mostert. And somebody earlier, the Dolphins have had 10 different offensive line combos, whatever they said. Their offensive line has been injured on and off all year. Connor Williams on IR, right? Like he tore his ACL or he's done for the season. Like they've been making it work despite a ton of injuries on that side of the ball. Their defense has gotten a lot better through the course of the season, as we thought it would with Vic Fangio. Jalen Ramsey's playing well. So Miami's interesting. They still haven't, like, even that Cowboys game, they won. 2 good teams played a tough game. but I wish Justin, banned. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again, Justin. You're banned.
Stefanski. I think Stefanski or D'Amico Ryans, but I think Stefanski. Dude, like, even their punchers and kickers are getting hurt now for the Browns. And it's just like, it doesn't matter. There's like, no, we're still going to win. And Joe Flacco's going to come out. Amari Cooper's going to set franchise records. Dude, the Browns are just like, they've done it. Like, now I'm like, yeah, rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll. I wish Nick Chubb was still there. Like, I wish he
Maybe
didn't get
Joe
injured.
Flacco deserves MVP. I mean, you could make it a case.
I don't think Cincy is going to be a tough game for them. I don't think the Chiefs are going to drop 2, though.
That's the thing. They got the Bengals, yeah, and that the Chargers were the
Browning
final
looked
week,
bad,
right? Like, needing the Chargers to get a win. Raiders,
and you have to beat the Chargers too. Like, and I think they held their own against the Bills.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they'll make it competitive, but it's just gonna be tough. Freaking Tua. Can we be done with that stupid ass narrative now? It was like, Tua's so injured. Been fine this season.
Lamar, Tua, healthy.
Been fine this season.
The year that killed every quarterback too. It's like,
yeah,
the people who got the most shit for being injury prone, Tua and Lamar, they healthy.
That's called irony.
Yeah. Also with hindsight, like the Raiders taking so long to get a deal done with Lamar. Idiots. Any team that didn't try to make a play for Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
Also idiots. NFL GMs are so dumb sometimes. I swear to God.
Well, it's because it was, but here's the thing. That's been the narrative for Lamar Jackson, right? Even when he was like drafted, he was drafted at the end of the first round because the Ravens, they traded back up, right? They went and grabbed him. But it was this offseason because you and I had this conversation where you had teams going out of their way to be like, we're not going after Lamar Jackson. Like, they could have just said nothing and just kept busy. But that was like the weird thing. It was like, why are you doing this? Good. I'm glad they were so vocal about it. I'm glad the Atlanta Falcons were so vocal about it. And I know they're winning a couple games now, even though they just lost to the Panthers last week. But it's like, could have used Lamar Jackson, couldn't you?
After they went all in for Deshaun Watson and got outbid.
Yes.
Atlanta deserves to suck just for that. I can answer that question though. The problem Lamar faces is the year he won MVP. He set the bar too high. Like that. Go back and watch Lamar Jackson's MVP season.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It's insane. It's one of the best quarterbacking seasons you'll ever watch. And when you do that, like, to be in the conversation again, you have to hit that level or exceed it almost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's why, like, when Patrick Mahomes doesn't have an insane game, or like, ugh. And like, if you compare it to what other quarterbacks are doing, you're like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. But by their own standard that they set, the bar's really, really high. The other part of that too, it's like, with the GMs not necessarily wanting to make a play for Lamar Jackson, they have this dumb idea that, like, how long can he sustain playing this way? And all they're saying is, like, he runs the football a lot. We're scared he's going to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
When we've seen Aaron Rodgers get hurt in the pocket, just kind of rolling out of the pocket with Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford banged up his thumb throwing a football in the pocket. Like, this idea that a quarterback running puts him at jeopardy, unless they're quarterbacks who are young, like Will Levis, and haven't learned to slide yet and to avoid hits, it's like the biggest fallacy, I think, is your quarterback runs more, so he's going to get hurt. It depends on how he runs. And Lamar's always been pretty damn smart in how he runs. But he just set the bar too high. So, like, does he have 1,000 rushing yards yet and 30 plus passing TDs? Until he gets to 1,000, I can't consider him an MVP. Yeah, and like the Josh Allen narrative is also stupid.
Yes.
Oh, but he's got 14 or 15 interceptions. Who gives a shit? He's got 40 TDs. He's got one more pick than Mahomes, 2 more than Jalen Hurts. Like, if he has that many picks, but he's not making up for it with touchdowns, you worry.
Oh yeah, Kareem Jackson gone.
Yeah, that was weird. So we
Someone
got
say that like your thoughts on Kareem Jackson being released, and I was like, oh, he was released, or they're talking about it. I didn't think he would be. The Texans picked him up.
Yeah, I think it came down to the Broncos defense has been playing. You could say it's actually been playing maybe a little bit better without Kareem. And it's not a knock on Kareem. It's like PJ Locke's been playing really well in his place. And they had to decide whether or not to activate him. They released him with the intent of signing him back to the practice squad and then activating him. But he got claimed by the Texans. So I'm sure he was open to going back to Houston. And who wouldn't want to go play for D'Amico Ryans at this point? And like Kareem Jackson's, he's how old is he? 34 maybe. For safety, he's old, but he's always healthy. And so like him returning home to Houston, they could have a very nice like depth piece as safety. Enforcer, he might be suspended. But I'm happy he's going to Houston. Sucks to lose him. Everybody in Denver loves Kareem Jackson.
I have a question for you, and this is like a real question. Browns look like they're going to go to the postseason, right? Like
they should. They're fun right now.
If they win one playoff game, what happens with Deshaun Watson next year? Are they still forced to play him?
I already told you what happens.
What if they win 2 playoff games? What if they don't, like, it comes up short of it? Because if they win a Super Bowl, then they just go, oh, well, we won a Super Bowl. Like, then they just go to Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter. They fall short of the Super Bowl, but they win at least a game in the postseason. What do you do?
And you see Deshaun Watson in prison.
I don't think that's how it works because just Joe Flacco's
all that has to happen is you got to break the rule of conduct and they can get out of the contract, right? He makes another mistake. Boom.
I think it's a little bit of both, Malachi. I think it's a little bit of both.
Deshaun Watson to jail for the Browns. We got to see. Oh man, like it's Joe Flacco though, right?
Joe, lighten it up.
His entire career, the joke's been, is Joe Flacco elite, right? Like, I think the elite meter, the meme elite meter for quarterbacks it all came from Joe Flacco, unless I'm mistaken. So he's on a heater right now. And when Joe Flacco is on a heater,
he wins Super Bowls.
As good as any quarterback you've ever watched. And he's fun because the way Joe Flacco wins is he just chucks the ball all the way down the field, right? It's like, I'm going 40 yards downfield to Amari. Guess what? I'm going 50 yards to Amari. Now, you get some picks in there. But, like, when he cools down, though, he's as bad as a quarterback as you'll watch. He's a statue in the pocket. He will make your life hell as a football fan. But right now, there is a weird part of me who wants to see him continue on the heater and get the Browns all the way to the Super Bowl. Like, it would just be the most chaotic thing we could imagine from this season.
I mentioned this in power rankings, and the memes from that Sunday's game with like Amari Cooper breaking franchise records, the whole 9 yards, and Joe Flacco just being amazing. Like, it was like, Joe Flacco had to throw against Troy Polamalu. You think he's scared of this secondary? Like, that mentality, because he is legitimately like one of those old gunslingers, but he never really got the respect that went along with like the Bradys, the Rodgers, the Mannings, because he had that season where it was a prove it year. He goes, okay, had the greatest prove it year almost ever for a QB, won a Super Bowl. So then the Ravens had to give him $1 kajillion in that big old contract. And then he's like, all right. And then he went just go back and playing like normally. But a lot of times his play was washed out because you had like these elite giants of QBs. So it's like kind of cool to see that style of QB still being played. Like, and that's why it's also sucks that Rodgers got hurt, because like I feel like that's still, part of that era as well. Well, it's a little bit more nuanced because he's a little bit later.
Yeah. No, it was just consistency. And Broncos fans fucking hate Joe Flacco because that Super Bowl run started with the insane Broncos-Ravens game. in the playoffs. Go into overtime. John Fox doesn't give Peyton Manning a chance to do something with like 30 or 40 seconds on the clock. What?
Ian Rappaport, the Broncos are strongly considering having QB Russell Wilson sit for the final 2 games, preserving financial flexibility for the offseason. Wilson has $37 million in 2025 salary that vests in March of 24. And if he suffered a serious injury, it would complicate matters.
Oh, well, this has been on the radar for a bit. Oh, we're going to get the Stidham game coming up? Wow. So another thing that's happened, apparently, is Russell Wilson has expressed interest to the Denver Broncos about taking a pay cut this offseason to give the team more flexibility.
I don't think so, Crank. I don't think so. Doesn't solve their problem. Yeah.
37. Oh, yeah. So best in March. Yeah, because he can't get injured. This is all like if he gets injured, then they're kind of hamstrung. Wow. But now it's official. Like these rumors have been there for a while. Like people were talking about this shit back when the Broncos were 1-5.
Yeah.
They're like, if Russell Wilson gets hurt, then they can't really do much. So should the Broncos bench Russell Wilson now? This is back in October. And where the Broncos are sitting, honestly, they could probably benefit from a QB change just to see what the offense kind of looks like. And not even a knock against Russell Wilson, because I'm very critical of him. He gets more criticism than anybody really deserves. But just to watch, now that the team is played together for a while, what the offense looks like with a quarterback who doesn't have the limitations that Russ has.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really get that from Stidham. But like, let me just see a guy who's going to make quick read throws, who's going to throw to anybody who's not a running back 40 times a game. And let's just see what that looks like. Like, I'm curious as a fan just to see what that looks like for a week or two.
Well, I think and I would imagine, dude, if the Broncos sit Wilson and Stidham comes in and puts up like 35 points, I can imagine just Sean Payton staring daggers at Russell Wilson the entire time. He's like, this is why I did this. This is why. Because I just don't think he likes him. And Flacco or Baker, I think. Baker maybe, but depends on the last couple games.
Yeah, I saw my friend Joey, who does the Let's Talk Broncos podcast. He just tweeted a video clip of Teddy Bridgewater and was like, whatever about Teddy. There's, things he didn't work out. But one thing we should go back and appreciate is Teddy Bridgewater's pocket presence. And it just showed Teddy stepping up into the pocket, moving over a little bit to make a throw. And it's like one of the things, if you watch Russell Wilson a lot, he can do some crazy shit in the pocket. He can avoid and get out of pressure still. But there are too many plays every game where you're like, why isn't he stepping into the pocket to navigate his throws? And it was kind of just like a perfect tweet about that's what really holds Russ back is he's made so many plays off script and by snaking backwards out of pressure that at this point in his career, he can't keep doing that consistently. And it hinders what he can do as a quarterback.
For this really quick. I thought Garrett had more pressures than TJ because that's a stat that honestly is kind of better than some others. But yeah, no, TJ definitely. It's not a condemnation of TJ. TJ can win it too. TJ can win every freaking year.
Yeah.
But Myles Garrett's also had a phenomenal season, so he's just the one that stood out to me a little bit more. Hold on, you got to do. Did you win? Wait for the holiday. Did you win any of your pick'ems?
No, Tom, I did not win any of my pick'ems.
Makes you feel better. I didn't either.
Why would you even ask me that?
I just wanted to ask. Just wanted to check.
I think I only did one.
Okay.
Wait, see. Let me see. Let me just pull it up. Let me pull it up. Let's take a look. Let's go check my receipts. Pick'em results, baby. Pick'em results.
I don't. Also,
yeah. See, okay, I did do one for the Broncos game. And
All right, let's see this. Oh,
Cortland
okay.
Sutton left the game with a concussion. So, no points. I went higher on Javonte, and they tried. They tried to get there. I was nervous about Zappy even at 10.
Yeah.
Smartly picked Zeke. The one of these that
Great
I felt
game,
the
but
best about was Cortland. I was like, Cortland going to do it. If there's Mr. Reliable, it is Cortland Sutton. Injury got me there. Do we have the Thursday night games ready? Ooh, should I curse Steph Curry again? I'm taking Curry to see if the curse works. I'm taking Curry just to see if that curse works. Oh, man. See, this is... It's teasing me. This is what your pick'ems looks like, isn't it, Tom? You get the stat totals here. I don't get these. It's fantasy. So Colorado don't allow this.
Isn't it beautiful?
So I got to refresh. It won't let me pick these. I know it won't. Yeah, see, there we go.
There you go. Should have tried. You should have tried. Hold on, you'll get disclaimed. You'll go about to
Come on, where's my pick'ems?
Disclaimed.
Oh, come on, Colorado.
Yeah, speaking of basketball, good God, the Pistons, they're setting records, huh? 27 straight losses. That's not great. Not great, Bob.
Let me fix my browser here.
Cursed him once already. What did he break that streak of how many games consecutive? Getting at least a 3-pointer? Nay. All right,
I'm just gonna set up a draft here on Underdog.
I will say though, TJ Hawkinson. Yep, I just saw that too. Yeah, he's out for the year. That really sucks. They're playing Vikings playing the Packers on Sunday Night Football. Packers playoff hopes are still alive, still holding on. But
I want to do the bomb. No, that's 100. Too rich for my blood right now.
Goal line stand.
$20 entry. There we go. Here on Underdog Fantasy. We got a link in the description. Use our code GPS when you sign up at Underdog. They'll match your first deposit up to that $100. They had Christmas specials. Hope you took advantage of those. And you keep doing it through the playoffs. You got playoff drafts every week. They're going to have the pick'ems every week. My pick'ems were loading correctly. There's only one thing about the state of Colorado I don't like. That is their pick'em rules. But right now, let's see what draft spot I get. We'll come back. We'll make the first selection. Christian McCaffrey against Washington. That's a slam dunk. That is a slam dunk if I've ever seen one. Although Washington, I think they're starting Jacoby this week. They're going to go Brissett.
Yeah, Howell had a really rough game against the Jets. Yeah. Like it was.
Howell needs a break. Howell needs a break.
Does he make money? Only if he wins.
Yeah, if you win. If you win, you make money.
I don't even remember because we did a bunch in the offseason. I'm actually curious to see how I am doing in those. I feel like I haven't checked it in a hot second. Oh, I'm not doing well, I don't think. No, I don't think I'm doing well. It was a good shot. It was a good try. Oh, there we go. I am winning 1, 2, 3. All right, 3. Not bad. Not bad.
Once this draft fills, we'll pop in there.
That is very true. Yeah, Lions, and shout out to Lions once again for winning that NFC North. And that game against the Cowboys on Saturday, which Perna and I will be streaming. Woo! That's a big game. A lot of playoff implications for that one.
That game's going to be good. And by good, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game. I just think there are. Maybe the Cowboys defense makes that tough for Detroit, but like if you're worried about Detroit, it still is the defense. Like I was watching back through the Vikings Lions game. I'm like, man, they gave up so many big plays to Nick Mullins in the passing game. Like, and I know the Vikings have talent, obviously catching balls, but Hawkinson went down at that game. Didn't KJ Osborne eventually, didn't he get hurt in that game too? Or sorry, not KJ, but Addison. Didn't Addison get hurt in that game?
I mean, the problem ones, again, Kirby Joseph thought that Nick Mullins was Aaron Rodgers and was intercepting him all day. But then the Vikings don't even know what QB they're going to start on Sunday. They said it's up in the air. It could be Dobbs, could be Hall, or it could be Mullins.
It's like you can get 400 passing yards with Mullins, but you're going to get some picks too.
Mm-hmm.
You can get probably 150 passing yards with Dobbs, but you might get some rushing TDs. I would start one quarterback for one half and the other quarterback for the other half.
Why don't you just start one for each quarter?
Every other play.
Justin Jefferson just comes in the fourth.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Yeah, that's pretty true. That is pretty true.
Yep.
Yeah, tomorrow, Brandon, we did it. We survived another season of Thursday Night Football.
Bam.
We did it. Tomorrow, the final one of the season. Do you know how nice it's going to... I might go see a movie.
You should do it.
Like next Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go see The Iron Claw. I still want to see Godzilla -1. Like, there's a bunch of movies I'd like to go see. We'll see.
You can do it.
Maybe. I can't wait.
Was it Jets and... Who's Thursday
Browns.
night? Jets and Browns?
That's the final one. It would have been interesting if Rodgers was in, but yeah, we talked about that, Jim.
Yeah.
We just talked about that. But we just made it. I'm just so excited we got through. Get a Thursday night back. Wow, that's crazy. 36 different QBs since 93.
I mean, that's a long way to go back, though.
The Packers have had less than, 5?
Yeah, well, you guys are the exception. Wipe that look off your face. I don't like that look.
We got another one.
We'll
That's
see.
right, NFC North. Your deepest, darkest fears have come true because the Green Bay Packers once again found another great quarterback. Prepare for another 20 years of terror. I'm really
If
excited.
the Broncos move on from Russ, I'm going to miss him.
Yeah, that's going to be weird. And then it's also going to be, what the hell are you guys going to do at quarterback?
Draft.
Trade up? You make
Walmart's just going to start paying. They'll be like, all right, we'll give you a draft pick, but also here is $50 million under the table. Illegal.
Now leave. No,
after we win a Super Bowl, we're going to get fined by the league for tampering.
Why not?
We're tamperers.
Hey, happy holidays, Vader. Let's go. But Perna, you got a bunch of videos out yesterday.
Oh, I got two.
What do you got coming out today, my friend?
Power rankings will be up later today, baby.
All right. I'll have predictions out today, and then the NFC and AFC reactions to Week 16 is going to come out too. That's just going to take a while. It's going to be a while, but we're going to get it.
My ass was literally in pain last night from sitting yesterday.
Oh, I know that life.
Yeah. Shout out Johnny Barks with the assist.
Coming in.
Barks is a machine. Barks is a machine.
There you go. But folks, we appreciate the heck out of you. Thank you for watching. We'll be back on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And then we'll be streaming on Saturday night together for the good old... there you go. For the good old Lions-Cowboys game, which would be a really, really fun game. But
yeah, I'm excited for this game.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Because we decided to do it a while ago, and then both those teams it was right as they both hit that little lull. Like, oh man, maybe that game won't be that good. But now I think it's going to be a lot of touchdowns Saturday night.
And again, I thought that's what the Cowboys-Dolphins game was going to be, and it was not.
Yeah, fair enough.
But folks, thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a fantastic holiday weekend if you celebrated. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
And they have reached the destination.
Where?